Hello there, sir or madam. 'Tis I, Harold T. Burroughs, to give you a good old-fashioned spoiler warning for the Game of Thrones. And, for anyone who's starting to have a panic attack right now, don't be alarmed. It's just spoilers for the show and not the books. You see, the show is what our artist here enjoys the most, and he has not yet dabbled into the world of literature for the Game of Thrones. And so for anyone who may be watching the Game of Thrones right now, whether you're in the first or second season or the season before the one that just finished, let's just go ahead and make it safe and say that there's spoilers for all the seasons sprinkled about this show right now. You see, our artist doesn't want to spoil or ruin the experience for you, so he likes to put on these elaborate and theatrical spoiler alerts so that you may be warned and have enough time to turn the video off or even mute it just so you can appreciate the art that is before you. So, I am Harold T. Burroughs telling you once again that this is your spoiler warning. Now, you may enjoy the show. A good day.
Drawing things for complete strangers, but my parents will probably watch this, so I guess they're not our strangers completely. Bad art.
Yellow, and welcome to Bad Art, a video series where I draw things and I talk things. So this week I am in hot water because if you guys have been watching other videos, you know that when it comes to like talking about shows and kind of recapping what happened and sharing my thoughts on it, I usually have someone here to like kind of help me out with it because it's so not really, well, the shows that I've done, it wasn't really a lot, but I enjoyed having like friends and family and loved ones and significant others come and help me talk about this stuff, right? It kind of takes the weight off of me to just have it all on my shoulders. But it's also fun to do. But this is a show. Today we're going to talk about Game of Thrones, the latest season. I think it's season 5. And out of all the times where I need somebody to come and help me talk about this, like this, I just don't have anyone to get. You know, people live busy lives. We got like mismatched schedules and stuff. So, but I'm gonna try and see if I can take care of this all by me lonely. So, I mean, with Game of Thrones is just so much going on. It's just really hard to tie down everything. I got my notes in front of me. I have it all like situated to where I'm just gonna talk about what happened in the various lands. I don't really want to go over every single character. I'm just kind of like trying to hit the important stuff, or at least the stuff that I got myself as I watched it. And I've watched the episodes like numerous times, and I'm still just like, gosh, sometimes it's really hard to figure out what's going on. So anyway, enough excuses. Let's just get right to it. So we'll just go ahead and start in Meereen or with Daenerys. That's another thing too. I've read the first book. Well, not read it. I'm like only like I'm in the early pages of the first book. So I haven't read all the books. I started with Game of Thrones through the shows. Like I'm mainly just watching the shows, but I kind of want to switch over to the books now. But I'll get into that later. Let's just talk about the shows. So I don't know all the characters' names. I don't know how to pronounce them that well. So if I get it wrong, don't chop my head off. Or if I'm using like nicknames and stuff, it's because I don't remember their actual name, or maybe I just like their nickname better. So Daenerys, Meereen. So what's going on there in Meereen? We got this coup that's happening where these, what is it like? Some of the harpies, some kind of like mass people are running around just doing these guerrilla attacks around Meereen. And it's supposed to be like some like to get back at Daenerys for like taking away, was it taking away the fighting pits or was it starting the fighting pits? Or was it just her taking over in general? It was something about like her ending slavery. That's what it's about. Her ending like slavery and stuff in that city. And I guess they're trying to like take that stuff back. As far as like who's doing it, I don't know if they ever got down to who was causing all that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I think it's Daddario because he's always trying to tell her to. He's been telling her over and over again, like, let's take the leaders, let's take all the important people, excluding you, of course, and execute them in front of the whole town. That way, nobody can say anything. Nobody can oppress you or anything like that. Any group that's out there that's being led by them will automatically disband because their leader is dead. We're just chopping off the heads of the snake, right? And I mean, when he keeps on saying this and recommending this to her while he's like in bed sleeping with her and stuff and trying to have like this little secret relationship with her, I automatically assume that he's the one that's causing it. Because his whole story is that he started out as like a slaver or a slave or something where he just fought in fighting pits and he became a champion there, and then he became like this great warrior, and then he like had his own little army and stuff because he was with those other guys in like season 3 or 2 or whatever. And I guess like now he wants to ascend even more and be like royalty, to be like a king or something. I'm sure he's into Daenerys and wants to marry her, but I think like he wants to add that to his story to where he wants to be a king, so he can just go up to people and be like, yeah, I used to fight in the pits like a gladiator and stuff, but now I'm a king overall, so look at me. And the fact that they can't do that now because I think everybody will like frown upon that. Like everybody will look at that and be like, you can't do that because you're not like, you don't have like a royal bloodline. You can't get married to her and shit like that. So I think that's his whole motive behind having these attacks happen. And if you notice too, the guy that Daenerys ended up marrying in the city to kind of like tie things over with everybody, with the population, you notice that when he died, they like stabbed the fuck out of him, okay? Like everybody else was just getting their throats slit. There was a couple people that got stabbed a couple times, I guess, but it was usually just people getting stabbed in the back and they were slitting their throats and making it quick. This dude, like, they literally came up to him and just stabbed him like 17,000 times, okay? So like I think that was the Dario's way of saying like, that's what you get for marrying my broad. Don't ever do that again. So he took him out. He made sure that he was taken out of the picture. So yeah, that's just what I think. So now Daenerys is gone. She's with the Dothraki now. Like, I don't know if they're gonna take her prisoner because didn't they have like beef with her when she was with Drago or something because they thought like she was a fraud or whatever, or kind of like messing with dude's head. But I guess they're gonna like take her prisoner. But hopefully they like take her in and kind of show her how to lead people, because I honestly think that Daenerys has been like getting by like through the skin of her teeth with a lot of her like upbringing and stuff in the power. And because she's had like Sir Barristan and stuff advising her and everything and telling her what to do, or suggesting what she should do. And I think now it's time for her to finally come into her own person and just make her own decisions. Like, she does that every now and then, but she still just like kind of goes off and have people kind of like tell her what to do, and that pretty much was what was gonna happen with Tyrion being there. He was just gonna like advise her like everybody else did, but he would be more logical with it because he kind of has that knowledge of Sir Barristan, but he also sees like the empathy that Daenerys has like as a person, so that's like a good mix for her. But they're separated right now, so now Tyrion and Varys have to hold down the fort. Now the big question is, what's gonna happen when Daenerys finally gets back to that town? Like, is she gonna even accept Varys? Because Varys was one of the spies that was getting the clues or gossip and everything from Jorah. So what's gonna happen with that? That's what I want to see. But I do look forward to the next season to see like Tyrion and Varys like in the more prominent role again, like sneaking and conniving. And I'm pretty sure my boy Tyrion's gonna get down to the bottom of what's up with these Harpy people. And that's where we'll probably find out that Daddario was probably behind it, because maybe like all the attacks will chill out now since Daddario is gonna be gone, with Jorah trying to look for Daenerys. So we'll see about that. Let's see. What else? Is that it for Marine? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. The dragons. The dragons. I don't know what's gonna go on with the dragons. I think it'll be pretty funny if Tyrion finds some way of controlling the dragons for himself over Daenerys. Like maybe that's the only thing that'll be able to save him from her coming back and be like, "You little bastard! Like you're trying to take over my town and run it without me." You know, like no, I train the dragons for you. Please don't hurt me. You know, but she needs to let those dragons out because they're just getting feisty. I don't even remember if it was all three of the dragons attacking the populace or if it was just Drogon because Drogon's a little dick. You know, just doing whatever he wants. He probably needs to be put down or something, or he needs to be locked up in a dungeon. But you know, Drogon can't be put in the box apparently. But the dragons that are in there now, they need to let them out because they're only going to get more and more feisty and ferocious to the point where they'll probably eat her if given a chance. You know, no matter if that's her mom or if that's their mom or not. But yeah, I think that's it for Marine. Bravos. My girl Arya still on the rampage, getting revenge. Got to see my boy Jakan again, the mini face god or the face shape shifting dude. It was cool to see him again. One of the things that I liked about this was that they were able to see through Arya's like bloodthirst for revenge. I'm so tired of like shows and movies where like people like who clearly have revenge on their mind and they go and learn like some new skills and stuff to go and exact their revenge later on in life. And the people that they go and learn it from are always like, well, you don't learn it to do this. We don't flat out kill people, like, you know, so if you're just here for that, you need to leave. And they're like, no, 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 that's what I want to hear for. I just want to better myself, be a better person, and blah, 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 blah. And you learn all the skills, and they end up, like, turning on the console and leaving and going off and exacting revenge, and they become, like, this rogue agent. I'm glad that the many-faced god was able to see through all that stuff and was just like, you know, you're still Arya Stark, you're still like led by revenge and stuff like that. You can't be one of us, an assassin like us, you know, you can't put your feelings away, but we're gonna at least try and show you how to hone our skills, you know, like we're not gonna teach you everything, but we're gonna teach you just enough to where you won't blindly go out stabbing people like just for the hell of it, you know what I mean? And I'm glad they did that. And she ended up like going and disobeying him anyway. And now she's blind because I guess she got poisoned from putting the mask on. Whether that's permanent or not, I have no idea. But if it is, hopefully Jakan will teach her how to be like a daredevil type character. Because with her killing that one commander dude, the little pedophile guy or child molester dude, whatever he is, with her killing him, that's going to go back to King's Landing and they're going to come and investigate that because that dude was pretty high up with the Lannisters. So I don't think they're going to let that death slide so quickly, right? What else? What else with Bravos? I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. So going to King's Landing, so yeah, like I said, that's gonna, you know, that news is gonna get back to King's Landing. That's gonna attract attention to Bravos, so they gotta deal with that. King's Landing is just a clusterfuck. There are so many things going on there. Like that's just a hotbed for all conflict. And the Lannisters, at the end of the day, are slowly just losing power. They're getting stretched out so far. Like I said, they got to go to Bravos and investigate that dude's death. They have to deal with the Sparrows with locking up Cersei because now Cersei's stuff is getting put on wax. Now the whole because remember there was already a rumor going around that her and Jaime were sleeping with each other and that their kids were like hell spawn from her and Jaime from her and Jaime's ancestral relationship. So you already got those rumors out there. Now you got her being accused and her even admitting to sleeping with her cousin. So you know that's going to get around town. Everybody's going to be like, well, if she slept with her cousin and she admitted to it, then she probably did sleep with her brother. Her kids do look weird where they all got their little blonde hair, golden hair running around here, and none of them have any black coarse hair like their late father, you know, with bunny ears on that. But yeah, so now that's going to start spreading. So they're slowly starting to lose power in King's Landing. And then they're also like in a head-on collision with the Tyrells because they locked up Marjorie and her brother or cousin. Was her cousin or brother? I think it was her brother. They locked those two up. So now they're going head to head with each other. And they were already going head to head because remember the little old lady, Marjorie's grandmother, or whatever, she and Littlefinger had already made a little secret alliance and killed Joffrey, thank God. And they're already going after the Lannisters trying to take power. So with Marjorie and the brother locked up, and with Cersei getting out and confessing that, yes, she did sleep with her cousin, now the Tyrells are going to be like, well, if you confess to that, now you're out. Now it's time to get Marjorie out. Now it's time to get our boy out. But now it's time to get him out. So what's going on with that? That's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. What else? So yeah, you got the Lannisters who are spread out. They're going to be spread out in Bravos. They got to take on the Sparrows. They got to take on the Tyrells. They got to take on the Boltons. And with the Sparrows, it's like I'm trying to figure out how they're going to handle the Sparrows because the Mountain guy is back and he doesn't look like the stealth killing type. He looks like the type where he's just going to run through and say I'm the Juggernaut bitch and just start like smacking people left and right with his big sword, and crushing people's heads inside of his hands again. So he doesn't seem like the silent type. So are they just gonna full on take on the Sparrows, or are they gonna like secretly just take them out one by one? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, Cersei will be on the rampage. Will she have a cool enough head to do that on the down low? I have no idea. Hopefully she does because, like I said, they're spread out. They don't have the manpower anymore like they used to. They're slowly losing it. And then she sent Jaime out to Dorne, and that's the other thing too. They gotta deal with the people in Dorne, because Jaime and Bronn went out to Dorne to get their daughter back, Marcella, and now she's dead. So what's happening with her? Which I knew she was gonna die as soon as the one chick kissed her, because I was like, oh man, the kiss of death. They're gonna use that poison, and thank God that Bronn didn't die. Jesus, I was so scared. Like my heart literally started beating real fast when Bronn was dying from the poison, because like that's one of the characters that I'm all about Bronn, and Game of Thrones rules is that whoever you like, they're either gonna die or transform into a dick or something. They're just gonna be a character that you don't like, but still, I can't help but like some characters, and Bronn is one of them. But yeah, I knew Marcella was gonna end up dying. So now that she's dead, like, is Jaime gonna go back to Dorne and just be like, okay, you killed my daughter or you killed my niece? I don't know if he's gonna like come out or not, but you killed her. Now we got a problem, because if I go back to King's Landing, we're definitely coming back with a whole bunch of ships and we're killing everybody here. Now does Jaime want that? I don't think he does. I think Jaime's gotten a little smarter, but maybe he hasn't. I don't really know what's going on with Jaime these days, but I think he's smart enough to know that if he goes back to King's Landing with the dead Marcella, that Cersei is probably going to kill him along with Tristan. That's his name, right? The chick or the dude that Marcella was going to marry. She's definitely going to kill that dude. There's no way that she can let that guy live, knowing that his mom, or I don't know what the relation's here, but knowing that the people in Dorne, the little small sand snake group or whatever, killed her daughter, she's not gonna let that slide. So now she's got to go out to Dorne and deal with all that stuff. How that's gonna pan out, I have no idea. What is Jaime gonna do? Maybe Jaime will kill Tristan, before he gets back to King's Landing, and be like, oh, Cersei, they killed our daughter, and it was this fucker right here, so I killed him for us. Now everything's good. We don't need to go back to Dorne. She's like, no, we're going back to Dorne because I told you it was gonna happen. I told you we should have went there and slaughtered each and every single one of them because they've been beefing with us forever. So let's go. So that's a hard situation right there. Winterfell. Let's see. Winterfell. Yeah, Winterfell. We got some stuff with Stannis. Stannis finally got taken down a peg. He finally got his ass kicked. Stannis has been going around for seasons just burning people left and right, talking about being the one true king and all kind of prophecies and all this other crap. And it's been kind of pissing me off to the point where I'm just like, you know what, dude? Like, you're all talk. I'm tired of you. It's time for you to go down. And he finally went down. And he went down hard. Like, like they systematically set that man up for failure. He was a broken man, and now he's probably a dead man. But I don't think he is dead. I have this thing where it's like, if you don't see people die, they're not dead. Like the Hound, I don't think the Hound is dead. I think the Hound, like, got dragged off by some random wanderer and got brought back to health and got a blood transfusion, and now he's back for revenge to get Brienne and Arya and stuff. You know, Brienne for beating the shit out of him, and Arya for leaving him to die, even though he told her to leave. But still, like, I don't think he's dead. I also don't think Stannis is dead. Even though Brienne's been all about trying to kill Stannis to avenge her past king, I still think that she's like gonna have the wherewithal to just be like, I can still use you for something. So I'm gonna let you live, and I'm gonna have you work off your debt, even though you can't work off the debt because you've done some horrible shit. You've killed your own brother. Now you've killed your own daughter. You know, you led your men into a slaughter. You've been burning people left and right. Like, it's too easy to kill you. So let's just keep you alive. So I still think Stannis is alive, and I still think there's something for him to do. Not to really make up for his character, but you know, that's what they do in Game of Thrones, is like they build people up to just be like the biggest dicks in the world, and then they have like this one moment in time where it makes you question, maybe this guy isn't so bad, you know, like Jaime. But then, you know, Jaime ends up raping his sister, and you're like, no, my bad, Jaime is a dick. I'm sorry, I never should have said that Jaime is starting to be a cool guy. You know, can't get past that stuff. You can't get past rape. Just like friggin' Roose, what's his name? Roose? Is it Roose? No, Ramsay. Ramsay Bolton raping Sansa. That was messed up, you know. But you know, he'll be getting what's coming to him pretty soon. Who he's getting it from, I have no idea. Because, like I said, the Boltons are going to be going after the Lannisters now. Or the Lannisters are coming after the Boltons, so they're going to have to, like, retaliate. Well, they were already going after the Lannisters, because they were trying to make a little, like, meeting with Littlefinger as well. Littlefinger's got his finger in so many things, now that I think about it. Jeez. He's so much. But yeah. Ramsay's gonna have to deal with all that stuff, you know. One of his chicks is dead. I'm sure he don't care about that. Like, he'll be pissed that he lost her, like that he lost one of his playthings, but he's gonna be even more pissed when he finds out that Sansa's gone and that Theon is gone. And I call him Theon. I don't call him Reek, because for all you guys should know, Theon is actually like one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. Like, you know, because he was like the little playboy, and he was getting everybody, all the girls and stuff, and he used a bow and arrow. But then he ended up turning on Robb, and you know, but he's starting to like get back. He's starting to get back to Theon now. Now the real question is, where are they going? Because I was thinking that he was gonna go back to his sister, even though his sister was saying that, oh, you know, Theon's dead, but he can go back to her and show her like, hey, I'm back. I'm sorry. I got my dick chopped off, and you know, I wasn't me. So like, give me another chance, and then hopefully the Greyjoys will unite again and go after Roose this time, and this time be victorious with their assault, because last time they sucked when they went after him. But hopefully they make up for that. But like, the question is Theon and Sansa going to them, or are they going to meet up with Brienne, or Brienne, however her name is pronounced? Are they going to meet up with them and then go to the Greyjoys? Because I think the Greyjoys are still at the Stark's castle. I think they're still held up there. They can't go to the Vale because that's where Littlefinger is. And I don't know if Brienne knows or not, but as soon as she finds out that Littlefinger is in control of the Vale, she's gonna be like, nope, we're not going there. We're going far away from the Vale. We don't need to be going anywhere near them. They can't go to King's Landing. They can't really cross the sea to go over to Marine. So I think the next logical thing for them to do is either go to the Greyjoys or go towards the Wall and try and meet up with Bran and them. But they're beyond the Wall. So I think the more logical thing for them to do is just go over to the Greyjoys. And that's going to take some persuasion from Theon. But hopefully they can like jog his memory and get his personality back fully, so he can like win back his sister's support and stuff, and the support of the Iron Islands and everything. What else? Is that it with Winterfell? I think that is. Right? like I said, there's so much going on. There's like, all I know is that the Lannisters are just getting their ass beat. And at the end of the day, I liked the season. I liked how it turned out. It started off kind of slow, but it did kind of set up a lot of the events that are going to go on for the next season, because I'm getting so tired of everyone's saying, "Oh, winter's coming, and we got to take down the Lannisters, and the White Walkers are coming, and all this crap." And I'm just like, you guys keep saying this, but when is this gonna happen? I mean, we're in season 5, for Christ's sake, and I got this thing with shows where it's like, do 5 seasons and stop. Now, I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Game of Thrones because there's so much story that's going on. There's so many things that they got to set up. So, but just don't get crazy with it to where you're just like in season 15 still talking about winter's coming, Let's start to kind of rope this thing in and bring it to a close, which I think is starting to happen now because the Lannisters have been in power for so long and been notorious for being the most powerful family. And now, like, with Tyrion killing off the dad and Cersei getting outed and everything, and them just getting about to get so spread out within Westeros, and not even to mention what's going on with Daenerys. Like, eventually they're gonna have to meet up with her. It's just the Lancers are finally starting to come down, and that's good. They're getting their comeuppance. So let's get to the art. So as you can see, I tried to draw Jon Snow. So if anyone who's listening to this is like, why didn't you talk about the wall? Why didn't you talk about the wall? I'm talking about the wall right now, okay? Just chill out. Chill out. I drew Jon Snow. I tried to. Once again, tried to do the whole realistic thing, the whole portrait drawing, and I just can't get it right. But I guarantee you, one of these days, I'm gonna get it right, and it's gonna be glorious, okay? It's gonna be the best feeling in the world when I finally draw someone from scratch and get them to look exactly like the picture that I am referencing. All right. Today is not that day. In fact, this whole thing was a train wreck because I didn't even want to draw this. I wanted to do something different for this piece, but I'm gonna have to wait till next time to try and do what I really want to do. I tell you right now, but I want to keep it a surprise. But yeah, I drew Jon Snow. It's messed up what happened to him, but you kind of had to see it coming because he's just been on the outs with the Crows for like forever. He's just been going in there, stirring up all kind of stuff, pissing people off. It was only a matter of time before everybody just came together and was like, you know what, we gotta kill Jon Snow because we don't like change. And he's bringing in wildlings and everything like that, who we've been beefing with forever, talking about winter's coming and all this other crap. Got to get rid of them. So they finally did. They finally retaliated. And that's messed up because it sucks when you got one person who's coherent enough to be like, look, man, there's a bigger threat out there. We've been convincing ourselves forever that the wildlings are the enemy, but there's actually someone out there who's worse than the wildlings, and they're taking them one by one, building up this grand army to come in the world. And it's up to us to stop them because we're the Night's Watch. We're the last line of defense for man. And we're messing up right now because of some stupid squabbles. You know what I mean? And you got everybody bitching about, oh, well, the wildlings did this to my parents and they did that to me. And it's like, that's true. But I'm sure the Crows have done things to the wildlings. Like, if you go over to the wildlings, they got all kind of horror stories for them. So it's like everybody just needs to drop it now. It's to the point now where it's like we've all done some messed up and questionable things in the past. Now it's time to look towards the future. There's a bigger threat happening out there, so we need to band together. And luckily, the wildlings, at least most of them that's still alive, have gotten to see that firsthand with the White Walkers or the Whites, or I don't know what they're called. I thought they were called White Walkers, but apparently there's like different brands of them. Like there's the ones with the horns who are like the little kings and stuff. Like I guess they're called something different, but let's just call them the White Walkers for now because that's what I know them by. They're like quickly building up an army. Who knows how many more wildlings are out there for them to take over, but it's only a matter of time before they start attacking the wall. And it's not going to be like when the wildlings attack. This is going to be something different because it's like every person that they're going to kill at the wall is going to morph and become a White Walker or a zombie White Walker and start attacking his brethren. So they need to get their shit together. But they're too busy killing my boy, Jon Snow. Jon Snow getting stabbed was my first like holy shit moment in Game of Thrones, because it took me a while to actually get into Game of Thrones. I didn't actually get into the show until like about season 4. And by then, I already knew that Sean Bean's character, the lead stock or John Stock or whatever, like I already knew that he died in season 1. So like that was spoiled for me. The very first episode I ever watched of Game of Thrones was the Red Wedding. And when I watched it, it was just a whole bunch of people getting killed at a wedding. I didn't know who anybody was, but I remembered the faces of everyone who died. So I was just like, this is my first time watching this show. I have no idea who's dying. All I'm seeing is like people getting stabbed and the pregnant woman getting stabbed like 15 times in her stomach. This is gruesome. You know, I need to check the show out, right? So like as I go and start from season 1, I'm seeing all these faces from the Red Wedding. I'm just like, wow, this sucks because all these people are gonna freaking die, you know? And now that I'm all caught up and I watch season 5 and I go into it, I haven't read the books, and Jon Snow gets stabbed. That was like my first holy crap, like they're killing him. They can't do that. Cause I thought Jon Snow is an interesting character. But I always got a little mad because I was just like, he's such a cool character, but they relegated him to this freaking wall, you know? And I was like, so we're just gonna keep going to this wall and seeing him train and stuff, right? But they ended up like kind of switching it, and they're like, no, like he'll go beyond the wall and he'll mess with the wildlings, and this is where the White Walkers are. Like he's gonna figure out that whole thing with them. So he actually ended up having the most interesting story, and mainly just because there's not a whole lot going on the wall. It's like a really fixed story. Whereas like when you go to King's Landing, it's just so much crap going on. It's hard to keep up with it. So I really liked how they ended up making Jon Snow's story interesting. And for the longest, I've been like waiting for him to try and explain what's going on with his real mom, because his dad was like, when I get back, I'll tell you about your mom. But he ended up getting his head chopped off. So for the longest, I kept thinking maybe the red woman's his mom. But then she ended up seducing him, and I was like, okay, well, never mind, because, you know, no mom in their right mind would do that to their kid, right? I mean, the red woman is kinky, but I don't think she's that kinky. But, you know, so that theory went out the window. So they ended up killing Jon Snow and stabbed him. And my whole thing with that is that I don't think he's dead either. Like, yeah, he's bleeding out, but either like, what's his name, Sir Davos or whatever. I think he's going to take Jon Snow. Either him or the Red Woman is going to take him, and they're going to bring him back to, like, they're going to nurse him back to health, I think, if he's still alive. If he's dead, I still think they're going to drag him off somewhere, and the Red Woman is then going to revive him. Hopefully she does, because she needs to start making up for all the shit that she's been causing, because ever since she got into the picture, she's been burning people left and right with Stannis. She's been accusing people of this and telling prophecy this and prophecy that. You know, she even let that one kid go who was like the bastard son of Robert Baratheon. She even let him go when she was supposedly supposed to kill him. So if she can do all that, hopefully she can like take Jon Snow and revive him. And I think in doing that, you finally get him away from the wall, because he has served his purpose enough to let people know that there is a threat outside of the wall that is not the wildlings, and it is worse. So like he's already sent that message out. So now that he's like supposedly dead, put bunny ears on it, hopefully she can revive him and they can take him away from the wall, and he can finally start going on his adventures around Westeros and like exacting his will on everyone that way. Hopefully. That's what I hope, because I don't think Jon Snow's dead. Like I said, I don't think he's dead. I think he's coming back. There's a crap load of questions that need to be answered, like what's up with his sword, because now we know that it's not just dragon glass that kills the White Walkers, it's Valyrian steel that kills the White Walkers. Is that the same as dragon glass? I have no idea, but we need to figure out what's going on with that. We also need to figure out what's going on with Bran, because Bran's got the little mystical powers who can possibly help with the fight with the White Walkers. So we need to figure out what's going on with that. We need to figure out what's going on with Ghost, because isn't Ghost still at the wall? Now that they've stabbed Jon Snow to death, are they going to kill his dog or his wolf? Because if they do, that's going to put the Crows in even more of a shitstorm with me, because they're already on my shit list. They've been on my shit list, actually, just because they're so, like, hard-headed and stubborn and stuff, right? And then what's going on with his boy Sam? Because Sam is like so hell bent on being a family man. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Like, is he gonna get word and come back and try to avenge Jon Snow? Because we've already like shown that Sam isn't a fighter. Like, is as much of a likable character as he is, he's not a fighter. So I don't think he's gonna be coming back and avenging Jon Snow anytime soon. Is he gonna go into hiding? Because now that Jon Snow's out of the picture, what are the crows gonna do? Because like the wildlings are just south of the wall. They're not that they can't be that far into the land because I think the Night's Watch has like a radius or has like a parameter that they can like extend out to. And if the wildlings are in that parameter, are they like gonna go out and start hunting down the wildlings to kill them off? Or are they just gonna be like, oh, just let them go? Like if they show their faces, we'll kill them. But for now, they're in the land. We're just gonna have to deal with it. I have no idea because their whole duty is to protect the wall and guard the wall and stuff from the wildlings and all kind of other dangers. So now that the wildlings are inside the wall, I don't know. They could like band together and just be like send out some teams and be like go search these people out and go kill them and go get Sam too because he's pretty much a wildling now because he slept with one of them and probably has him pregnant. Because yeah. But I think that's it, man. That's about as much as I can get. Like I said, I like the season. I think a lot of stuff happened to set up a lot of things for next season. I just hope that they start bringing the show to a close. I do want to start reading the books just because I don't understand why they even did this show before the books were even finished, because I don't want George R. R. Martin to be rushed into finishing his book series. I don't want his original vision compromised, I don't know if he watches the show or not, but I don't want him to be like, oh, that's a good idea that they're doing in the show. Maybe I'll do that in the book. Like, I want him to do what he originally had planned to do for the books. So we'll see how that all pans out. But yeah, I think that's about it. I can't wait for next season. I guess there were some people who were really upset with what happened within this season, and as far as I understand, I think that's all people who've actually read the books. Like I said, I haven't read the books, but I will say as a person who's read the Walking Dead books and watches the show, and I completely understand what you're going through and how you're thinking, where you're just kind of done with the show because it's going so far away from the books. I say just let it go, man. I mean, if you're into the books, just stay with the books, I mean, like I said, as long as George's vision isn't compromised with the books, you should be fine. You still have the books to look back to. Just because the show decided to do something different, you can't blame them too much for that. But I will say, as a show, like I enjoy it. I enjoy what's going on. I enjoy what they're doing. I just hope that they don't get too overzealous with it and have the show overstay its welcome. So I'll just go ahead and end it with that. You guys know where to reach me. You can reach me on Twitter. You can reach me on Instagram. I'll put all that information in the video description. Don't forget to send me your bad art intros. Put like a hashtag. Put hashtag bad art intro so I can find it. Best one will intro a video or episode of Bad Art, most likely episode 23, because that's like another milestone for me personally with the videos. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm sorry that I rambled on for so long. I'm sorry that my Game of Thrones knowledge is just not what it should be, but like I said, there's just so much going on. It's hard to keep up with, but I did my best in the recapping. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the art. I'm sorry I messed up Jon Snow. Like I said, I'm trying. I just can't stop drawing realistic people or doing portrait pieces just because I'm bad at it. I can't get good at it if I quit, okay? So take that with you too. Don't give up on stuff that you really want to be good at or what you really want to do. So I'll leave you with that. That was bad, but it could have been worse, and I'm out.